You know, those weeks where just everything feels chaotic. Your calendar's jammed, the inbox never ends, and every single task feels like pushing a rock uphill. It's that constant, like, firefighting mode instead of actually building something. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if things could just, well, flow? So today, yeah, we're doing a deep dive into something I think is really powerful: invisible systems. We've looked at some fascinating material suggesting, the real win isn't brute force, it's building smart. Our mission here is to really unpack what makes these systems work so well and maybe why the best ones, well, you barely notice them.
It is a bit strange when you first think about it, isn't it? Because we often associate effort with results. But the sources we looked at, they really highlight how true efficiency, it isn't light. It's not about constant visible activity. It's more about this subtle, consistent operation running underneath. The systems with the biggest impact. You feel them more than you see them, creating that smooth experience.
Okay, so let's get into that. The main thing about these systems, according to the material, is really what they don't do. They don't screen for attention. They don't need constant tweaking, constant babysitting. And you're definitely not, like, posting about your system's productivity on LinkedIn, right? They just work quietly, consistently, always there in the background.
Right, and that quietness, that invisibility, that's actually their strength. It's their superpower, you could say, because when a system runs that smoothly, it's just removes so much friction. And the cognitive load, the mental energy you spend just managing things, that drops dramatically. So you get this kind of effortless momentum. It really proves that idea. The best systems are felt, not seen. They just become part of how you operate.
I'm thinking people probably have some of these already and don't even, like, consciously label them as systems.
Right.
Like, what are some examples we might recognize from daily life?
Oh, absolutely. Think about maybe your smart home setup. The lights adjust, the temperature's right, maybe music starts when you get home. It just happens based on you being there. Or maybe a more complex example, like a personal knowledge management tool, one that links your notes and ideas automatically in the background. It finds connections you might miss. And as our sources put it, none of these argue with you. They just do their job so you can do yours. It's quiet support.
Yeah, that doesn't argue with you. Part is key. The quiet support, the reduced mental effort. That makes a lot of sense. So if we take that idea, that principle, and we scale it up, thinking beyond just personal routines to, say, running a business, what does that start to look like? How does that apply?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting, connecting it to the bigger picture. When you implement these kinds of background systems in a business context, you're essentially buying back your focus. You free up so much mental bandwidth, so much time. And the whole point really is to let you concentrate on the high level stuff. The strategic thinking, the creative work, the tricky problems that actually move the needle. You're not stuck in the weeds anymore.
Right, out of the weeds. So in a business, what are we talking about specifically? Beyond just, like, basic email follow-ups, the material mentioned things like integrations between different software, right? Like APIs that silently pass data back and forth. So your sales team maybe sees real-time inventory without ever having to, I don't know, check a spreadsheet manually. Or AI tools maybe. Things that gather customer feedback from everywhere, analyze it, prioritize it, and then boom, automatically create tasks in your project system. It shapes your roadmap without loud meetings.
Exactly. Or imagine a system that doesn't just track tasks, but spots patterns in how your team works. And then it proactively suggests, hey, maybe shift this resource here or tweak this process before a bottleneck even forms. It anticipates. These systems are humming along in the background, just making everything smoother. So you can focus on the work that really needs that human touch, that creativity. The core idea, I think, is pretty profound. You don't need noise. You don't need frantic activity. You need systems that communicate without sound. They make the complex feel simple, the chaotic feel smooth.
Okay, so bringing this home for everyone listening.
Yeah.
What does this actually mean for you? I mean, really think about it. Where in your life or in your work does it still feel loud? What things demand constant attention, constant visible effort? What keeps pulling you away from the important stuff?
And that leads directly to the big question from our source material, doesn't it? What's still loud in your life that should be silent and smooth? It's really an invitation to look closely. Where is that friction? Is it that report you manually compile every week? Is it how you manage your personal tasks?
Yeah.
Because finding that and then actually deciding to, fix it, streamline it, the payoff is almost immediate. You really will thank yourself tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's really the heart of it for today, isn't it? That incredible efficiency, and honestly, the sense of peace you get when you build these systems that just
Mhm.
hum along quietly. They let you put your energy where it counts on the innovation, the relationships, the big moves. It's about creating a situation where flow isn't just a goal. It's like the default state.
Exactly. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this: how much more could you actually achieve? How much capacity could you unlock? Not by adding more hours or trying harder in the old way, but by making more of your current operations just disappear, fade into really effective, invisible systems. Just imagine the compound effect. Every little noisy thing you manage to make silent and smooth. What could you do with all that recovered energy and focus? Something to think about.